What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we had a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC, and to put it briefly, we got our asses handed to us in this game. An unbelievably incredible effort from the OKC Thunder, destroying us in pretty much every quarter. They won every quarter and they won it convincingly, and in the end, the scoreline actually flattered us, and that is hard to say, but it did, because it was a lot worse than the scoreline I'm about to read to you. But look, I could sit here and be mad about it. I could sit here and accept it. The truth of the matter is, it's probably somewhere in between. I don't think I could be necessarily thrilled with a loss like this, but I can also understand that this is not the best team in the league. The Chicago Bulls, I'm saying. We are not the best team in the league. So we got to understand what our level is. And if anything, it's almost like they just bring us back to reality a little bit. And that's where we get to discuss things. So before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about these Chicago Bulls, their game today, your player of the game, as we lose this one 145 to 117. So a massive deficit there, a massive loss. But it was worse throughout the game, trust me. And again, brought back to reality. We had an incredible West Coast trip. We beat some really good teams. They say that the month of March is a month where you don't necessarily need to, I guess, take everything that we do into consideration, considering some teams don't play well in March, some teams are just waiting for the playoffs, some teams are resting their guys, whatever the excuses you could put in front of them is. But OKC didn't do any of that. They played pretty much everybody, as far as I'm aware. They cooked us from start to finish, and they played hard out there. They're the #1 defense in the league. They showed it today. They are one of the best offensive teams in the league as well, and they showed that today also. And the Bulls just couldn't hang up. They couldn't hang. They couldn't keep up. And you know what? That is expected. That is expected. Let's be honest here. This team is still a team that's young and trying to find their way. They have found a formula that works for most teams. They are winning some really good basketball games. And I expect them to go out against the Raptors and play their butts off to ensure that this loss is forgotten about very quickly. That's exactly what they need to do, at least. But this is the best team in the league we just faced. Record-wise, probably play-wise, we'll see what they do in the playoffs, but in the regular season, they are the team to beat. And to get our asses handed to us is not nice. It's never a nice feeling to lose. Never a nice feeling to get destroyed. Never a nice feeling to watch. But it should be the outcome, considering where the Bulls are and where OKC is. And I say a lot of things. One thing I will say is we need to learn from the OKC Thunder. Now, we don't have 15,000 picks to kind of select our talent and go from there. We don't have that type of luxury. But OKC have one of the youngest teams in the league. They have an MVP caliber player in Shea. They traded for him. And they built their team around young talent, and it's worked. We can learn from a team like OKC. We're a young team. We're trying to make it work. We need to start trying to figure out ways for that to happen. And the Bulls right now are in that learning stage, in that learning progress, in that sort of area where, yeah, we could do moves that can shorten the rebuild, let's say. We can go and get a veteran. We can go and get a superstar. Maybe. We can go do those things, shorten the rebuild, and try to compete right now. But is that really the solution? Is that the long-term solution? Because when I look at OKC, I look at a team that's built to last for a while. Just like when you looked at Boston and they drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that team is built to last. They're going to be in the playoffs for a while. Philadelphia, they're going to, well, I mean, outside of this season, of course, but they were in the playoffs for a while, trying to compete for championships. Some win, some don't. But you need to have a team that's built to last. That's the beauty behind the Bulls as well. We have the formula in some games, clearly not this game, but it has to be built to last. It can't be built for one season. It needs to be built for a long-term future, a long-term plan, and a long-term success. So that's where we can learn from OKC. Outside of that, I don't even need to bother really reading you the team stats. We got dominated in every facet of the game today in almost every single way. So we can take a look at individual stats. And there's one person that really unfortunately comes to mind. And if there was must-improves given, I would definitely be giving it to this player. Kobe White, with 23 minutes played, had 7 points and 1 assist. Now, this is the Kobe White that in the month of March went absolutely berserk. Probably should win Player of the Month. That's how good he was in the month of March. But today was just not a day that he should be proud of, in all honesty. And we can put it down to a lot of things. Obviously, the OKC Thunder, the best defense in the league, has immensely talented ball-handling defenders. Someone that can, again, they can guard one-on-one against any guard in the league. And again, they can stop people at their dribble. That's what Kobe White is very good at. They're trying to get to the lane with his dribble, finish, elite contact, all that stuff. But it just wasn't working for him today. He didn't do well from three. He didn't do well in regards to getting to the rim. And the OKC Thunder had their way with him. And again, this begs the question. Maybe the month of March was just, players just not giving it their all. I don't know. And it's a shame if that's the case. But I think Kobe White needs to learn how to do it against everybody. And look, it's a bad night. Move on. I'm sure he could have a better night tomorrow. But yeah, I hope that next time we face some of the best teams in the league, whether it's OKC, whether we go into the playoffs and we face Cleveland or Boston, whoever it is, the Kobe White can at least show and demonstrate he could do it against the best in really tough environments. Because today was just not a good example of that. Outside of that, let's take a look at some more team stats before we go. Just, to kind of pass the time a little bit. Bazelis had 14 points and 7 rebounds. Not too bad. Vucevic with 11 and 8. Giddey with a near triple-double. 15 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Still, for a player like Josh Giddey and what he's been doing, this is a great game, by the way. But you still expect, because he's had 25-point triple-doubles out there. So, again, we're complaining about a near triple-double here. Patrick Williams with 16 points, not bad. Javon Carter had 17. A lot of it was in crunch time minutes, or not crunch time, just garbage time minutes. But he definitely produced in the amount of minutes that he played, which was really nice. Jalen Smith had 10. Taylor Horton-Tucker with 16. Again, we played a lot of our bench guys in the early third, start of the fourth. Kind of just rode them the rest of the way. Because, again, we weren't going to come back, were we? So, yeah, this is a game to forget about. For the Bulls, at least. Bulls players. For the fans, maybe we won't forget about this one so quickly. But Bulls players need to just put this in the locker and move on. Don't open that locker again. Do not let this ruin the form that we have been showing to the league in recent times. A loss like this can kill a team. It really can. But if you want to be a good team, if you want to be a competitive team, every team gets blown out at some point. I'm sure in the OKC Thunder's 12 losses, one of them would have been a blowout. Maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming so. So every team, it does happen to everybody. But good teams forget about losses like this and move on. And that's what we need to do. We have a game against the Raptors, a game that is winnable, a game that we can execute and show our dominance if we play the right way. That's what we need to direct our heads to now. Let's see if we get the job done. My player of the game is Josh Giddey. Even though, it's not the 25-point triple-doubles that we've become accustomed to and kind of spoiled to see these days, it's still near triple-double. And he was the best player on the court today. Against his former team as well. Something to be proud of there. Again, if anything that you can take a positive from, Josh Giddey showed his former teammates the talent that he did have. And I'm sure they all knew about it. I'm sure they all still know about it. But it's nice to see that he could produce against his old side like that, play relatively well, and just do a good job. Simple as that. Not the best game we've seen, but definitely not a bad one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.